guys, today it's time for another Top 5 Wednesday. This week's topic are your favorite unlikable protagonists, and I have to say this wasn't even easy because there's quite a few protagonists that I personally did not like, but I wouldn't necessarily say they are unlikable protagonists as in this category of unlikable, if you know what I'm saying. So yeah, I just tried to come up with a few. I have to say, while these are some of my favorite unlikable protagonists, a lot of these are not protagonists that I would normally mention as favorite characters. It's really just in this category that they really fit and kind of stood out to me. My number 5 is Kate from Vinegar Girl. This is a retelling of The Taming of the Shrew, and she was an incredibly unlikable character, and certainly I would not put her anywhere near my favorite protagonists or favorite characters whatsoever. But for this story, as a character, it fit super well, and I think she was written exactly the way it was supposed to be. Like, I just really think that it worked the way it was, that she worked as a character and that the character really worked for this story. So she is one of my favorite unlikable protagonists because I think this is exactly the protagonist that this story needed. My number 4 is Layla from Kiss Me First, and actually I just talked about this 2 weeks ago in my Top 5 Wednesday videos on books from your Hogwarts house. Layla is another character that never in a million years would I ever mention in any other favorite characters video, and she is also kind of a forgettable character. But in this story, just as in Vinegar Girl, you need an unlikable protagonist, and Layla really was able to just pull that off like 1,000,000%. She was very unlikable, very annoying, made you roll your eyes so much, but this is exactly what the story needed and exactly why the story worked the way it did. It can be very annoying and it can be something that maybe puts you off from the book, but for me personally, I think this was just how it was supposed to be. My number 3 is actually one of my all-time favorite characters, one of my all-time favorite protagonists. I bloody love this girl, but I definitely think she fits into the unlikable category in general. She's someone that you will probably either love or hate. It's obviously something that is very subjective, but I feel like with this character, it's easiest for me to see why people dislike her. That's also why I decided to put her on number 3, because I feel like as far as the category of unlikable characters, she is someone that kind of still many people really like and that many people just really worship, me included, but I still wanted to mention her because I think that you can definitely count her into the unlikable character category, as much as many of us don't want to. Wow, I rambled on quite long about this. I'm talking about Delilah Bart from the Shades of Magic trilogy, and I'm pretty sure that you will either, if you have read this book, absolutely love her or absolutely hate her. I still definitely, while reading these books, see some traits in her that are incredibly unlikable, and I cannot help myself but love her. So I really wanted to include her in this video, also to kind of just say that I do see so many flaws, and I feel like there's also a few things that Lila does or says that are quite problematic, and I do feel like there's some mentioning of like, I'm not like other girls that are a little bit questionable, but I just cannot be objective when it comes to the series or these characters, and so I bloody love Lila. She would obviously normally be my number 1, but as I said, I feel like since she is really just controversial and many people just really love her without seeing any problems, I kind of thought that putting her in the middle would work best for this character. My number 2 is America Singer from the Selection series, and I think America Singer is definitely the perfect example of unlikable character. She, unlike Lila, is someone that I find incredibly unlikable. She does unlikable things, she is annoying, but I still like her in a way, or I just still like reading from her perspective. It's still interesting, it still makes me want to continue the story. Whereas, you know, Lila, I just love the way she is. America, I don't love, but that doesn't mean that I don't enjoy her as a protagonist. I don't know if that makes sense. I feel like that's just kind of how I feel about unlikable characters. I mean, especially in the second book, America is I mean, she's a lot, isn't she? But I just think it works. I think it works the way it does. I feel like it just really adds to the whole angstiness and the whole stupidness that is this trilogy, and I love it for the way it is. And finally, my number one is Lola from Lola and the Boy Next Door by Stephanie Perkins. She is someone that I have a hard time talking about because I relate to Lola so much. So whenever she does something that is annoying or unlikable or, you know, stupid, I don't see it because I can like relate to it in 90% of the cases. And so, yeah. I guess that makes me unlikable, which is fine. I'm fine with that. Yeah, I definitely wanted to put Lola on this list because I feel like she definitely is, in a way, an unlikable character simply just because she is a teenage girl, which I feel like I quite honestly have started to realize that I will dislike quite a lot of YA protagonists simply because they are really realistic teenagers and they have thoughts that we all have, or almost all of us had. That's not unlikable, that's just realistic. It can be annoying when you have to read it in someone's head, but let's be honest, we were probably thinking the same things. So yeah. So these were my top 5 unlikable protagonists. A bit of a different, interesting lists. I would really just love to hear some of the protagonists that you really love because they are unlikable. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I guess I'll see you soon. Bye!